Senator Cassidy.
Thank you both. First, Dr. Califf, I'm just going far afield from nutrition, but it's just so topical. Hurricane Helene has disrupted the production of saline fluid. I'm a physician. I hear from my local hospitals that there is down to a 1 to 2 week supply of saline and other IV fluids. You may tell me that you have to go back and research this, but I have a constituent who has a FDA approved plant elsewhere in the Philippines. And I just mentioned him because I learned from him, but others have the same thing. And they cannot get an EUA to bring these products in. And indeed, they can't even hear from FDA as to why they can't get the EUA. It's always kind of like, we'll get back to you. Now, we need resilience, and it kind of reminds me of the delay in getting infant formula in. Are you prepared? And if you're not, I didn't prepare you for this question, but do you have any ability to comment on this?
I'm a little bit prepared. Let me tell you, I'm hyper aware of this. With permission, I have a brother who has pancreatic cancer who was just in the hospital. I was there, and he got one of the 2 bags of IV fluid he was supposed to get because of the shortage, so I'm very aware of it. I will say that we have been opening up. In order to allow a foreign facility in, we have to make sure that it's going to be safe.
No, but if it's FDA approved already, at least I'm told,
well,
that seems like that would be a...
Well, that we'd have to get back on the specific instance, but FDA approved for facilities could cover a wide range of possibilities of whether it's the actual product, how long ago was it, et cetera. So staff really have to make sure that when we import things that it's safe.
Can I follow up with you afterwards?
Yes, please do.
Yeah, I'd appreciate that. Next, and I won't, if I interrupt you, it's not to be rude, but just to kind of get through some questions. One of FDA's primary responsibilities in food safety is inspecting. And I understand that FDA continues to struggle to conduct regular inspections at the pre-pandemic pace. At what point will we back, or what steps are you doing to get back to these more regular safety inspections?
So first of all, let me say, I mean, as you all know, the day I was confirmed was the day of the Abbott recall. That was my welcome back to the FDA. And it was immediately obvious that we had many, many good people working between the Human Foods Program and the Inspectorate who were in the wrong configuration. And this has led to this massive reorganization. A major part of the reorganization is to get more, we call them investigators, you would think of the term inspectors, out in the field and make sure that they are highly valued. Among the many difficulties we have, and I used to manage a global clinical trials organization that did studies of therapeutics. Our investigators are flying, government style and staying in hotels that their colleagues who are doing inspections for the industries are not staying in. So we're really upgrading the status of the investigators so that when they arrive at a place, they're prepared and ready and building information systems. So very quickly, I know we're going to be short on time. We want an information infrastructure so that when they're in a place, they are guided, AI is a big part of this, guided to focus their attention where it's needed so they can do more inspections. We're going to get into, I know later in this hearing, the state relationships. The states do a lot of inspections, and there's also intelligence from other countries that doesn't substitute for an FDA inspection, but can be very helpful. So we're working on every part of that to increase the reach and magnitude of inspections.
Now, but it sometimes begs the question, because before these positive steps, you had a higher rate of inspection, and after these positive steps, you continue to have a lower rate of inspection. It begs the question of, like, why are the steps positive?
Well, we had a lot of loss of key people during the pandemic. It was not everything I've told you about the lives of the inspectorate, and then flying around in the pandemic, not exactly a choice job compared to other options. It really took dedicated.
So if you look at your decline in investigator inspector workforce, what % of decline have you had?
I can't give you the exact number. We can get back to you, but I can tell you it's on the way. We were actually losing net people.
But then let me ask you.
We're now on a positive slope.
Limited time. So to what degree can you attribute the loss of workforce to the decrease in inspections? Is that the sole thing or the?
Well, during the pandemic, there were other factors, like we had to be able to get into a place.
But now, post-pandemic.
Now, I think it's just a matter of personnel and time allocated. But, you know, I know we're working with your people on some details on this.
So I'm just going to ask you, if you don't mind, then later, as a question for the record, provide us the metrics that you're using to judge the kind of progress of this. Is it all personnel? That's understandable. If it's still system-related, despite these changes in systems, that would be something for us to know.
Again, just very quickly, a lot of it's personnel, but I described some other system characteristics that are characteristics of the government that make it hard for the inspectors to do their work. It's going to take us a while to fix those because these are government-wide policies.
Okay, thank you.